Floats, what are they? Well, they're just doubles in PHP. There's no difference. PHP says that any one of these numbers are considered floats. So for example, A is equal to 1.234, B is equal to 1.2 E3, and C is equal to, well, let's do 7E negative 10. So all three of these are considered floating point numbers in PHP. Floating points in PHP have a precision of approximately 14 digits, so we could do something like A is equal to 1 point, and this is considered a digit, so 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14. And we can say B is equal to 0.1, and let's do another one where we do C is equal to, basically, instead of 14, let's do 15 digits. So let's see if we can look at some stuff. So let's go ahead, echo div /div, just to be able to format our code correctly on the screen. And we're gonna first echo out A. Then we're gonna do A plus B, and we'll add these two numbers together. And then we'll also try to do A plus C and see what happens when we add something that's a little bit larger than the maximum precision allows us to do. So let's go ahead and save that. And let's go to right here. So if we refresh this, basically what we're getting is A is equal to the number that we wanted. A plus B is correct. And A plus C should technically have one additional one right here because we do have that 15th digit, but because the maximum precision of a floating point number is 14, that digit gets cut off. Now where it gets a little bit interesting is, let's say we change this up to 5. Let's see what happens. There really shouldn't be any difference. There's no difference. But if we do 6 or greater, this gets changed to 2, because I guess 0.0016 is closer to 20 than not. There are little discrepancies with floating points when it comes to comparisons, so we really don't want to do any kind of floating point comparison. So let's just do something like this. 8 minus 6.4 is equal to x. So this should come out to 1.6. And y is equal to 1.6. Now, if we were to do if x is equal to y, so if 1.6 is equal to 1.6, echo yep, else we're going to go ahead and echo nope. So technically, it should say yep, correct? If we refresh this page, we're going to see that it says nope, which is kind of weird because this should happen, right? 8 minus 6.4 is 1.6. Well, in PHP, and to tell you the truth, just the way floating point numbers are stored in general in computers, everything's kind of stored in bits, and in order to do these kind of operations easily, certain digits, like for example 1 divided by 3, should come out to 0.333, but how do you know when to stop, right? So there's certain things that are going on in the background that later on translate to something like this, not showing accurate results. So most likely what's happening right here is when you do 8 minus 6.4, you're getting, instead of 1.6, something like 1.5999999, something along those lines. So is 1.599 equal to 1.6? No. So that's why you get no right there. So I know I said that there's no difference between a float and a double, but there is a circumstance in PHP 7 and above where that's not 100% true. So, I know we haven't covered functions, but we're going to go ahead and try to look at that right here. I just want to show you that there is a difference, so don't worry about what this actually does. Double is treated as a class name, so only float is a valid type in this function that we're about to create. So we're going to we're going to call it does a float, and in PHP 7 you have the option of doing type hints right here. So for example, int a is saying, hey, this argument that we're about to pass is going to be an integer. But if we do double A, and we're going to just basically do var dump A, as you can see, it's giving us some kind of error. It says undefined class double. So it's basically treating this as a class. So the only type hint that we can do that's of double is actually float. So as you can see, we removed that double, we replaced it with a float, and now there's no error that it's given us. So let's go ahead and test this function. Does it float? And we can say something like 1.0001. And if we go over here and refresh it, what we should get is that declaration saying, hey, this is a floating point number and it's 1.001. Let's go ahead and try to change this to double, and let's see what happens. And it just gives us a big error saying, hey, blah, 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 argument one passed, does it float, must be an instance of double, which basically doesn't exist at that point. So in order to get these functions to work properly, you do have to keep this as a float, and that's really the only circumstance that you need. Yep, floating points, I mean, you're going to use them throughout. Just make sure when you're doing comparisons and when you're doing, type hinting inside your functions like this, that you are a little bit more careful than usual.